Times in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are right, we know that there's always tomorrow. We know when you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna be somebody to be on. Please swallow your pride. If I feel you need to find, so no one can see those of you that you want to bear. So lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna be somebody to lean on. If there is a Lord you have to care that you can carry. I'm right up the road. I'll share your load. If you just lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long, but I'm gonna be somebody to lean on. Just walk on, sibling, when you not here. We'll need somebody to lean on. I just might have a brother that you understand. We'll need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Somebody to lean on me. You're strong. I'll help you carry on. If you walk anymore, I'm gonna be somebody to be. Oh.
Can you hear? How about now? Is better? How's that? Good morning, everyone. Before we start this service, I just want to remind everyone that this is the last summer service, and next Sunday we'll be back at 10:30 at the church. Good morning, and welcome to the First Universal Church of Rochester, where we are called to nurture the spirit and serve the community. Love is the doctrine of this church, and all are welcome here. It is good to be together with all of you this morning. It's a new day. I'm Tom Williams, and leading worship today with me are my dear friends, Patti Goodwin and Forbush. And we'd like to make a warm welcome to the Transcendental Trio. Thank you to our host, Robinson. If you are here for the first time this morning, we especially welcome you. Thank you for making it to this worship community this morning. We have a visitors forum that can be found in the chat for the folks online. That can be found in your pews for the people in person. Please fill out the form so we can offer you a welcome beyond this worship service. Before we take a moment to turn to our neighbor, let us take a turn towards the camera, which is over there, and worship our online community. If you are online, please pop into the chat to offer a greeting and to share your joys and sorrows. If you are here at First Universal in the park, let us take a moment to turn to your neighbor and offer them a good morning greeting. Good morning. Good morning. Our opening hymn this morning is number 18. It should be printed in your order of service. What wondrous love is this? The left side.
Oh, what a time we have all had over the last 2.5 years. Incredible fear. So much information. Some real, some not. What and who to trust and believe. Suffering, death, a terrible war, isolation, more fear, surges, variants. Wow. But we are here, right here, today, together. So what has sustained you? Tom, Patty, and I ask you to spend time with us in connection and reflection. What keeps us strong? So come, let us be and worship together. Will Curtis Robinson please come forward to light our chalice if possible? The symbol of our UU faith. Please read together the chalice words written in your order of service and online. May we be people of one, here to grow in heart, in mind, and spirit, and may we reach out to serve. And you'll stand now in body or spirit to say our affirmation of faith and sing the doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is the sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life, thus to be covered with each other and with the world.
Anchor here. Sorry about that. The strength of this congregation and this faith is all of us here today. We get strength and fortitude in this church through our attendance and weekly service, in the committees we serve on, in the works of service we do in the community, in the financial support we give in our pledges, and when the basket is passed each Sunday. For me, it is truly a gift to give back to a congregation and a faith for future generations to enjoy the benefits we receive by all of us here today. You are invited to give online by scanning the QR code in the order of the service or by dropping your offering in the basket. For folks online, please check the link, click on the link in the chat or the person for search and so on and so forth.
Then start with food.
I invite you in this reverent time of sharing the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. If you would like to, you can place your hand over your heart to be able to listen from this dark central place. As we place stones into a bowl, I will read aloud the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. All are also invited to share our joys and sorrows that we may hear. A joy from Venezuela. We had a wonderful visit with my two sisters who were in town to see us last week. And Shirley Malone, a joy, a new adult in our community, granddaughter Tia's turned 18 yesterday. Keith Forbush, a joy, to see and hear Grace Robinson. And I have a bittersweet. Last Monday was my husband's memorial service, and my husband's brother said, I thought there were only 3 months here. I guess I was wrong. And thank you to, I swear, half the church was there. And so thank you so much. It meant a lot to me to look out and see all of you. As we drop one final stone into the bowl to represent all the joys and sorrows left unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, may all be held in the heart. Grief by Gwen Flowers. I have my own notion of grief. I thought it was the sad time that followed the death of someone you loved. And you had to push through it to get to the other side. But I'm learning there is no other side. There is no pushing through, but rather there is absorption, adjustment, acceptance. And grief is not something you complete, but rather you endure. Grief is not a task to finish and move on, but an element of yourself, an alteration of your being, a way of seeing, a new definition of self. We will now sing the hymn of contemplation, number 391, Voice Still and Small.
See It Through by Edgar Guest. When you're up against a trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders. Plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim. But don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If the worst is bound to happen, in spite of all that you can do, running from it will not save you. See it through. Even hope may seem but futile when your troubles you're beset. But remember, you are facing just what other folk have met. You may fall, but fall still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, heads high to the finish. See it through. When the three of us picked the topic of fortitude, I immediately went to the dictionary to make sure I had the correct idea of what fortitude is. Webster defines fortitude as courage in pain or adversity, such as she endured her illness with great fortitude. In 1989, when outsourcing was a new buzzword, my group, Kodak Computer Services, was the first to be outsourced. Being outsourced to IBM, we went from a casual climate to suits, stiff-collared white shirts, and ties. But it wasn't just the dress code, but the culture that was a tough pill to swallow. My first IBM manager was a bully. It still is my belief that her main task was to eliminate as many Kodak/IBM culture people as she could. I was criticized, berated, and verbally abused. She intimidated everyone in her path, not just me. After every direct encounter with her, I left her office in pain. Me, not one of her shining pennies, had to be polished and scrubbed up to survive the culture. So she sent me and a coworker to the Dale Carnegie course called Human Relations Principles and Effective Public Speaking. While I thrived at the public speaking part, this is where I learned to use props in my talks. It was the human relations principles part that changed me and the way I met every day since. I learned that if I practiced the human relations principles every day, they would become a part of me. Like always, I did as I was told and things began to change. I gained the strength and the fortitude it took me to survive the IBM culture until my retirement 15 years later. I'd like to share those principles with you this morning. Number one, live in day-tight compartments. Only worry about what's happening today. That's all that you can control. Number two, sleep. Try to rest before you get tired. Everything feels worse when you're exhausted. Cooperate with the inevitable. There are some things you can't control. Accept them and plan how to deal with them so you can move on. Number four, try and face your problems logically. Follow these three simple steps. What's the worst that can happen? Prepare to accept the worst. and think of ways to improve on it. Number 5, count your blessings, not your trifles. We've often got more to be thankful for than we have to worry about. Number 6, don't worry about the past. What's done is done. Learn from it and move on. Number 7, keep busy. Activity keeps the mind off anxiety. Number 8, use the law of averages to outweigh your worries. Ask yourself, how likely really is this thing going to happen? Number 9, remember that unjust criticism is often disguised as confidence. And number 10, and the last, create happiness in others. Research shows that doing good deeds can activate neurotransmitters in the brain that are associated with positive feelings and decrease stress and anxiety. Meeting every day with these principles as my guide to daily life and following the words of our affirmation faith as my spiritual guide, I am now fully prepared to meet each day with great strength and fortitude. It's a new day. See it through.
What do we do when times get tough? What we do when times get tough is dust off our coping mechanisms and try to survive the challenges life sends us the best we can. If I have learned anything in life, it is that life does not send us one challenge at a time. Life bunches up on us. So what we need to survive is to fill our toolbox with ways to cope with the bunching up. One of my quilting students created a lifestyle program called Starting Conversations, Finding Wellness. He used piecing a quilt as a metaphor for piecing together a life. The blocks were various ideas that, when used together, can build a complete life and help us cope with the difficulties we face. Block 1, listen to stories. Everyone has a story, so start conversations. Look for emotion and practice handling it. Conversation is not specialized. Anyone can do it. Listening equals learning. For many of us during the pandemic, this was the only tool we had for coping with the isolation caused by COVID. Since we couldn't really see people the way we used to, the only connection we may have had was talking on the phone. We asked how people were and listened for answers. And we listened for the emotions in their responses, so we could tell how they were coping. We kept up the communication to shut out the isolation. Block 2, grow your mind. Practice mindfulness. Seek to understand the world. Always continue to learn from and to teach others. Since our world seemed to get canceled, we had time on our hands. We could no longer say we didn't have time for things because, in truth, we had nothing but time. So many people took up new activities that we always wanted to learn. Some people picked up hobbies that had been set aside when we were busy. Some people had huge gardens because they were home and could be outside in their yards. Many read more books than they had in a while or studied new things they always wanted to learn. Some practiced meditation to deal with the anxiety that isolation and fear had created. Block 3, respect your body. Listen to your body. Get exercise. Think about your diet and seek ways to manage your stress. Many people walked, ran, or biked outside because they thought it was safer there than indoors. Some people downloaded exercise programs on their computers. Others bought indoor exercise equipment. All of these activities were ways to cope with stress and calm their anxiety and fears. Block 4, make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Learn from them. They will help you grow as a human and become comfortable during challenges. I truly believe that the only way to learn is to give yourself permission to make mistakes. Trying to be perfect only produces more stress. Oh, Kitty, you're supposed to say something.
Well, perfect stuff.
Thanks. And during stressful times, that is the last thing we need. The amazing thing to me is if we take a test, we don't remember all the questions we got right, but the ones we got wrong. We have to be gentle with ourselves. It's the only way to cope with stress. Block 5, find heroes. Have many heroes and share your admiration for them. They give us something to strive for. We can find heroes everywhere. During the height of the pandemic, it was the first responders, the nurses, the aides, the doctors, the food deliverers, the firemen, the police, the transportation workers who captured my heart. They went into battle daily to provide services for the rest of us. But the group closest to my heart were the educators who suffered along with their students as they fought with remote learning. Each night I would watch the good news segment of the nightly news and cheer on all those heroes. Block 6, develop strong relationships. Be with your family and friends. Keep up with their lives. Value and take pride in them. When we couldn't see our family and friends in person, we found other ways to cope with that loss. People had drive-by birthday, graduation, anniversary celebration. People had Zoom weddings and Zoom church. People talked to parents and grandparents through the windows of buildings. Graduation signs were put on front lawns. We had to be original to keep in touch with loved ones and show our love and pride for them. Starting Conversations, Finding Wellness is a lifestyle program developed by Dr. Robert Klein, who at 90 decided to learn to quit.
Things I read keep me strong. I love this poem by John Greenleaf Whittier. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging slips all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you got to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, and as every one of us often learns, and many a failure comes about when one might have won and one stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you are hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. For all the sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these: what might have been. Fortitude comes when you follow this kind of advice. These are words from Donna Ashworth. Don't prioritize your looks, my friend, as they won't last the journey. Your sense of humor will only get better with age. Your intuition will grow and expand like a majestic float of wisdom. Your ability to choose your battles will be fine-tuned to near perfection. Your capacity for stillness, for living in the moment, will blossom. Your desire to live each and every moment will transcend other ones. Your instinct for knowing what and who is worth your time will grow and flourish like ivy on a castle wall. Don't prioritize your looks, my friend, as they will change forevermore, and that pursuit can be one of much sadness and disappointment. Prioritize the uniqueness that makes you you, and the invisible magnet that draws in other like-minded souls to dance in your orbit. These are things that will only get better. I also find strength from writing, and these are my words to you today. Life has so many ups and downs. This is life. Life can bring you to your knees. It can bring you lower than you think you can go. But if you stand back up, move forward, if you go just a little farther, love will find you. Love is my fortify. Love is what has kept me going. Love is the answer. The love of my sons and daughter, my sister, grandchildren, niece and nephew, great niece, great nephew. The love of my friends. The love I have for nature, the sun, the wind, rain, animals, flowers, the changing seasons. The love I found and continue to find in the rooms of AA. The love I have for my patients and my work as a nurse. The love I feel when I sing. The love I feel for my body when I dance, do yoga, swim, and kayak. That love is the doctrine of this church. The love of the people here. I know I'm aging. I know time is limited, a concept I have only recently started to wrap my mind around, and that I have to downsize my bucket list. But the love in my life keeps me going. It keeps me energized, and it keeps me strong. And the wonderful thing about love is that there is always more to get and to give. So be it. True. And you now stand in body or spirit and sing your final hymn, the choir of commitment.
Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice flame this morning. Let us read together the words printed on the screen or in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but we keep it with the tenacity of our justice, taking our these walls to the world. As we close our service this morning, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. If you are joining us online, I invite you to turn your sight to the gallery view and look upon the faces of those here with you. For those of us in the park, take a moment to look around at those here with you today.
May the light around us guide our footsteps and hold us fast to the best and most righteous that we see.
May darkness around us nurture our dreams and give us rest so that we may give ourselves to the work of the world.
Let's remember the wholeness of our lives, the weaving of light and shadow in this great and astonishing dance in which we move. And let the people of the church say, Amen.
We're going to do the words I have to do that. Yes.